UFC Fight Night London's going down this weekend. Thank God it's not the Apex this time. We get fans in the crowd. We get drunk London fans in the crowd. So, this card's got a different feel to it. Let's just start with the main event. It was supposed to be Leon Edwards versus JDM. JDM's now getting a title shot. Good for him. So now we got Leon Edwards versus Sean Brady. He stepped up to the plate. I like this fight. Let's talk about Sean Brady. He was undefeated, lost to Bilal Muhammad, and has since then came back stronger. He's on a 2-fight win streak now. I think he tapped out Kelvin Gastelum. Then after that, he had a good fight with Gilbert Burns. Mixed his wrestling in, shot tons of takedowns. That helped his striking out. Super impressive fight. Now Leon Edwards. I look at him and JDM as the best strikers in this division. Even though MVP might have something to say about that. They're good strikers. The problem with Leon Edwards to me, though, is he hasn't pulled the trigger since the Usman knockout. Remember that one shot dead stuff? I haven't seen that. I didn't like the Colby fight. We all know Leon Edwards wasn't doing anything in the Bilal Muhammad fight until the last minute. He started raining down elbows, cut up Bilal's face, but that was too little, too late. Bilal Muhammad spiked Leon Edwards on his head. The boring champ Bilal. He did his thing against Edwards. We can't deny it. And if anyone could implement that style against Leon Edwards, I would say Sean Brady can do that. Similar style to Bilal, but I think Sean Brady's more exciting. Which is weird because Bilal Muhammad beat him in Saudi Arabia, He finished him against the cage with strikes. Honestly, I think that loss made Sean Brady stronger. And I feel like Sean Brady's looking at this as a title shot. He's taking this on short notice. He's fighting the former champ in his hometown. That can also make people stronger. Remember Jorge Masvidal versus Darren Till? I think Leon Edwards got more skills. But I'm going Sean Brady because Leon Edwards has not pulled the trigger. He doesn't unleash it. Sean Brady will. I feel like Sean Brady will go for it. I don't see Sean Brady knocking out Leon Edwards. Let's not get crazy here. Leon Edwards is good, but I could see him taking down Leon Edwards and submitting him, even though Edwards has not been tapped out ever. He's never been knocked out or submitted. I think all his losses are decisions. Yeah. How many submissions does Sean Brady have? 5 submissions? He beat Kelvin Gastelum, Kimura, arm triangle, Jake Matthews, guillotine, Christian Aguilar. When was his last submission? Okay, 23, 2 years ago. You know what? I'm going Sean Brady by decision in a barn burner. You know why? I feel like if this fight's a banger, or if there's a crazy finish, they could skip Shavkat and get a title shot. Shavkat hasn't fought in forever. Him and Bilal had the worst face-off of all time. I swear it's the worst face-off of all time. That fight lost pay-per-view points the minute they faced off. So, there's a lot on the line in this fight. Winner could potentially get the next title shot. And just leave Shavkat in the dark. And I think the winner's going to be Sean Brady. He's going to go for it more. He's going to bring the dog out of him. He's got more to win here. He's got more to gain. Leon Edwards has already been the champ. I don't know how he's going to bounce back from the loss. But we know how Sean Brady bounced back from that L, and he did good. He's riding the momentum wave right now. On to the co-main event. We got Jan Blachowicz versus Carlos Ulberg. Carlos Ulberg's looking to get his revenge. His teammate is Izzy. We all know Jan beat Izzy way back when. Why do I bring up that fight? Because I feel like that Izzy fight was Jan's last legitimate win. Yes, he beat Raychik by leg injury. Some people count that. Some people don't. But his last legit win was against Izzy. That was in 2021 with no crowd. This fight got me thinking. If this fight was maybe 2 years ago when Jan, split decision to Piera, a lot of people thought he won against Magomed. He technically lost both those fights, though. If this was about 2 years ago, I think I would pick Jan. But Carlos Ulberg, he's a little bit faster now. He's 34. Jan's 42. If Stipe didn't look good at 42, Stipe, the greatest heavyweight of all time, he didn't look good at 42. How is Jan going to look good at 42? I know Carlos Ulberg's fight against Volkan Ozdemir was tit for tat up until like the third round. I get it. But I still see that Ulberg is faster than Jan. No doubt about it. So I think Ulberg's going to win the striking. I say Jan's only chance is if he shoots takedowns. Like he did against Pereira. Is he willing to do that? Can he do that? Ulberg stopped a lot of Volkan Ozdemir's takedowns, but he's not Jan. At this stage in Jan's career, I don't think he's going to get all those takedowns against Ulberg and keep him down and tap him out and all that. If Jan's smart, he's going to shoot some takedowns. I think Ulberg's going to stop a lot of them. I think his footwork will put him in good position to sprawl and brawl. That's got to be his game plan, and Jan has to mix it up. He can't just strike. So, this fight's in favor of Ulberg to me. I'm going Carlos Ulberg. Probably by... He's not going to knock out Jan. I'm going decision. It's just crazy. When 42-year-old Stipe was fighting John Jones, we're like, he should be retired. What's going on? 42-year-old Jan's fighting, and everyone's like, yeah, I'm picking him to win. Interesting. Maybe they see something I don't, but I'm going Ulberg. The next fight here is kind of interesting. We got two guys that are kind of 1 foot in, 1 foot out of the sport. Gunnar Nelson, I literally forgot he was still in the UFC. I didn't even know he was still on the roster, to be honest with you. He barely fights at all. Now Kevin Holland, he fights all the time. 20 fights since 2020. The thing is, though, ever since he moved up to middleweight, he's looked like shit. Lately, he's just been getting bullied by 185-pounders for paychecks. His last 2 fights were just disgraceful. Just tapping out to RDR in like a minute. The fight before that, got knocked out in a minute. Middleweight is not good for him. But if you think about it, Gunnar Nelson hasn't fought since 2023. If you pull up Kevin Holland's record and look at his fights in 2023, he did amazing. He knocked out Santiago Ponzinibbio. He choked out Michael Chiesa. So I'm thinking, Michael Chiesa, different striking style, but as far as grappling, kind of similar to Gunnar Nelson, no? Actually, I'm surprised Chiesa and Gunnar Nelson never fought. Interesting. Probably because Nelson never fights, but very interesting that Kevin Holland had a great 2023, which is the last time Gunnar Nelson fought. This is Kevin Holland's 2023. Knocked out Ponzinibbio. Choked out Chiesa. Lost to JDM, split decision. Lost to MVP. Okay, not bad. Gunnar Nelson, he has a decision win in 2022 and a submission win in 2023. So basically we're looking at activity versus, I don't know, smarts? I can't believe I'm about to say this. This might be the craziest pick of all time. I'm choosing Kevin Holland to win because, hear me out. I know this sounds insane, but all the guys Kevin Holland's been tapped out to have been middleweights. He's only been submitted 3 times in like 20 fights. Guess who tapped him out? Brendan Allen, middleweight grappler. And one more. Who was it? And Hamzat. Hamzat chokes out everybody except Usman. If you've only been submitted 3 times in like 20 fights and they're all to middleweights, that's enough for me, even though Kevin Holland doesn't care about his fights apparently. I know Kevin Holland will never be the champion, but just because you'll never be the champion doesn't mean you can't beat Gunnar Nelson, someone who I forgot was even on the roster. So yeah, Gunnar Nelson isn't as big as these middleweights. I know he's a great grappler. He's got rear naked chokes for days. But if Kevin Holland beat Chiesa, I don't see why he can't beat Gunnar Nelson. Who would you say is better, Gunnar Nelson or Michael Chiesa? I don't know. They never fought, but grappling-wise, Chiesa and Gunnar Nelson are kind of similar. So yeah, I don't see why you can't beat Gunnar Nelson if you beat Michael Chiesa. Crazy pick. Wow. That might be the craziest pick I ever made. I'm noticing in these 3 fights right here, 3 of these fighters got their backs against the wall. Kevin Holland, because with another loss, who knows if he's even going to be in the UFC anymore. Jan, 42 years old, coming off surgeries, coming off 2 split decision losses, or 2 close decisions. Leon Edwards just lost his belt, hasn't pulled the trigger in a while. He has the pressure of fighting in his hometown. He has to win. So there's a lot on the line in this card. I like this. Crazy how when you're not at the apex, the card has to live up to some type of standard. Crazy, isn't it? Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to these fights. This is how you do a fight night. Honestly, we could have scrapped that Apex card last weekend. Put Marvin and Roman on here. You know? We could have put Salsa Boy versus Ryan Spann on here. Spiced it up even more. I'll keep protesting this Apex every chance I get. This is what I'm saying. We're going to have crazy loud London fans in the crowd. That's going to create highlights. We're going to have people talking about these fights because we have a crowd. It's going to stand out. No one remembers what happened in the Apex last week. There was no crowd roar. No one remembers that shit. Like I said, I'm going Sean Brady, Carlos Ulberg, and Kevin Holland. Brady and Ulberg are favorites. Kevin Holland's obviously the underdog. So very interesting. We're going to see how this goes. Man. Did I really pick Kevin Holland?